Hi, my name is Mike Lawrence. This video is one of a set which is intended to provide a different interpretation of the experimental results that constitute the foundation of current physics. It is clear that the present explanation for what we see in the universe is good in many ways, but it is missing an overall coherence. My view is that we need to look at physics with new eyes and consider an interpretation that explains most things well, even if it does question just about everything. I do not disagree with any experimental results, only the interpretation of those results. And I do not say that the hypothesis that I'll be talking about in these videos is the theory of everything, and that everything I suggest is correct, but it is a start. Each video in the set will cover an aspect of physics. The whole set needs to be understood together in combination, because many aspects rely on each other, and any one taken on its own may not be convincing to those relying on the current interpretations, some of whom may actually be offended by the hypothesis. There will be links in the videos to other videos in the set that cover closely related or overlapping aspects. Within the boxes in the videos are representations of the motions of the particles and their composites, which I will be explaining more fully. I'm happy to answer questions where I can, perhaps providing links to where a deeper mathematical analysis shows why I say what I do, since equations and graphs do not make good videos, and will post replies where appropriate on Twitter. I hope you enjoy the videos and they enable you to better appreciate the absolute symmetry and simplicity of nature. But please remember, I'm not an experienced presenter, and although I state everything as if it were correct, this is only a hypothesis. This is video number 6. What separates the quantum mechanic and relativistic environments? Motion through the background of merged pairs requires energy because not all the pairs are completely merged as zero-mass black holes, and there will be myriad mass and charge fields set up by the partially merged pairs acting as a form of viscosity. In double-adjusted SI, the dimensionality of shear viscosity and electric fields is y to the power of 9, acting against the meons, whose volumes are all the same. With volume having dimensionality y to the power of -9, the product of volume and viscosity is y to the power of 0, and the result is a composite universal constant. Loops will lose frequency or speed when travelling through the background viscosity and, like a skydiver reaching a terminal velocity during a fall, will have a maximum velocity through the background. That maximum velocity will depend on the density of the local background, but that will, for a photon, always be its own light speed. This environment is the relativistic environment and produces the arrow of time, in that all motion requires energy and no motion can be instantaneously reversed without requiring more energy. There is no gaining energy by just reversing the actions through time symmetry. In contrast, when entangled loops separate and a tunnel is formed between them by some of the background merged pairs, the tunnel excludes all the background merged pairs from within it, so there is no viscosity present within the tunnel. Now loops can travel along the tunnel without a maximum velocity. For an entangled photon split into its loop and antiloop, the electron loop will be at one tunnel end and the positron loop at the other end. The tunnel ends will be limited to travel at or below light speed, whilst the loops will swap position randomly at a very high frequency and non-locally. What is observed will be the sum over time at each tunnel end of the properties of each loop in proportion to how long it spends there. But over time, sufficient time, what will be observed will be the average of the two loops' properties. This is the physical meaning of being in a superposition. When one end of the tunnel is perturbed sufficiently, the loop at that end at that instant will be trapped as the tunnel collapses, and the other loop will be trapped at the other end. Unless there is a way of observing instantaneous charge at a tunnel end, there is no way of predicting which loop will be trapped at which tunnel end. This is the quantum mechanical environment, where non-locality rules and time does not matter. Together the two environments are like a holy Swiss cheese, where relativity rules the hard parts and quantum mechanics the holes. You can never simultaneously be in both the cheese and the holes, and when in the holes you're in contact with all the surface of the cheese. Quantum mechanics and relativity are not compatible, and the difference between them is the presence or absence of the background and its viscosity. Related videos will be 20, time, and 19, entanglement, tunnels, and superposition. Thank you for watching.